Storm clouds gather over St. Catherine's Medical Center. Thunder rumbles. Rain hammers the pavement outside the emergency entrance. Inside, fluorescent lights flicker overhead. Maya Torres, 32 years old, pulls her dark hair into a ponytail. 10-hour shift already behind her. But the night isn't over. Not even close. An ambulance screams into the bay. Paramedics rush through the doors, pushing a gurney. On it, a man mid-40s, unconscious. Clothes torn and muddy. Blood seeping through makeshift bandages. Severe trauma to the chest and abdomen. The lead paramedic shouts. Found him collapsed near the interstate. No wallet, no phone, no ID. Maya moves immediately toward the patient, but Dr. Harrison blocks her path. Dr. Richard Harrison, head of emergency medicine, 58 years old, 30 years at this hospital, known for efficiency, not empathy. Hold it right there, Torres. Maya stops. He needs immediate attention. Possible internal bleeding. Does he have insurance? We haven't established identity yet, but then we wait. Protocol is clear. Unidentified patients without proof of coverage go through admin first. We're not a charity. Maya stares at him. He could die waiting for paperwork. Then he should have brought his insurance card. The other nurses exchange uncomfortable glances. Nobody moves. This is the reality they've learned to accept. Forms before lives. Maya looks down at the patient. His breathing is shallow, irregular. Skin turning gray. She's seen this before, a body shutting down. Minutes matter. Maybe seconds. She thinks about her younger brother, Carlos. Killed in a hit-and-run 5 years ago. Bled out on a sidewalk while bystanders waited for someone else to help. By the time the ambulance arrived, it was too late. She'd sworn that day, never again. Not on my watch. Maya moves past Dr. Harrison. Torres, I'm ordering you to stop. She doesn't. She grabs the gurney, wheels it toward Trauma Bay 3. If you touch that patient without authorization, you're finished here. Maya turns, looks him directly in the eyes. Then I'm finished. She pushes through the doors. Maya works alone, cuts away the muddy clothing, finds a deep laceration across the man's abdomen, punctured lung, possibly damaged spleen. She pages the on-call surgeon. No response. Pages again. Nothing. They're refusing to come. Following Harrison's lead. Fine. She'll do what she can herself. Maya isn't a surgeon, but she did 2 years as a combat medic before nursing school. Deployed to Afghanistan. Treated soldiers under fire. Learned to save lives with whatever was available. She preps the trauma bay. Starts in 4-line. Administers antibiotics. Stabilizes his breathing with a chest tube. Her hands move with practiced precision. Outside the bay, other nurses watch through the window. Some with admiration. Others with fear. One whispers, she's throwing away her career. Another responds, maybe, but she's saving a life. 4 hours pass. Maya finally steps back, exhausted. The patient's vitals are stable. Heart rate steady, breathing normal. He's not out of danger, but he's alive. She sits down heavily, hands trembling from adrenaline. Then she notices something. On the patient's wrist, a faded tattoo. Military insignia. Ranger tab. This man was a soldier. Maybe still is. She wonders what brought him to this moment, unconscious, alone, nearly dead on a rainy highway. But there's no time to wonder long. The door opens. Dr. Harrison stands there, face rigid with anger. My office. Now. Harrison's office is cold, sterile. Diplomas covering the walls. Certificates of excellence. Awards for efficiency and cost management. Nothing about saving lives. Do you understand what you've done? Maya stands, still in her bloodstained scrubs. I saved a man's life. You violated hospital policy. You ignored a direct order from a superior. You opened this institution to massive liability. He would have died. That's not your determination to make. We have processes for a reason. Processes that prioritize money over human beings. Harrison's jaw tightens. You're terminated. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Maya expected this, but hearing it still hits hard. 10 years of nursing. Thousands of patients cared for. Gone in one night. Can I at least check on him before I leave? Absolutely not. You're no longer authorized to access patient areas. She nods slowly, walks toward the door, pauses. Dr. Harrison, do you remember why you became a doctor? He doesn't answer. I do. I became a nurse because I watched my brother die while people stood around waiting for permission to help. I won't be that person. I won't wait while someone bleeds out because the paperwork isn't ready. She leaves. Security escorts her through the hospital, past colleagues who look away, past patients she's treated, past everything she's worked for. In the parking lot, rain still falling, Maya sits in her car. Doesn't start the engine. Just sits, wondering if she made the right choice. Not about saving the patient. She'd do that again in a heartbeat. But about this career. About a system that punishes compassion. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. A text message. He's stable. Thank you. She doesn't know who sent it, but it's enough. 3 days pass. Maya doesn't leave her apartment much. Applies for jobs, but news travels fast in medical circles. Insubordinate. Her file probably reads. Doesn't follow protocols. No one's calling back. On the 4th morning, her doorbell rings. She opens it to find 2 people in suits. Federal badges. Miss Torres? We need to speak with you about the patient you treated. Her stomach drops. Am I in legal trouble? No. But we need to understand what happened that night. They sit in her small living room. The woman introduces herself as Agent Chun, FBI. The man is Agent Rodriguez, Homeland Security. The individual you treated is named Marcus Webb. Does that name mean anything to you? Maya shakes her head. He's a former Army Ranger. Served 3 tours overseas. Highly decorated. After discharge, he worked as a federal witness coordinator. Witness coordinator. He protects people testifying in major criminal cases. 3 weeks ago, he was escorting a witness in a cartel prosecution. Their convoy was ambushed. 2 agents killed. The witness was taken. Marcus was left for dead. Maya's blood runs cold. He managed to escape, but he was wounded. Went off-grid, trying to stay alive while figuring out who leaked the convoy route. He was heading to a safe house when he collapsed. So the hospital couldn't know any of this. His identity is classified. We only found out he was there when hospital records pinged our system. By then, you'd already saved his life. Agent Chun leans forward. Miss Torres, if you hadn't acted, a good man would be dead. More than that, the investigation would have stalled. Marcus is the only person who knows who the leak is. Rodriguez adds, you didn't just save one life. You protected dozens of witnesses and their families. Maya absorbs this slowly. Where is he now? Secure location. Recovering. He asked about you. What did he say? Chun smiles slightly. He said, find the nurse who didn't give up on me. After the agents leave, Maya sits in silence. She thought she saved one man. Turns out, she done something much larger. But she still doesn't have a job. Still faces a medical board inquiry. Still doesn't regret it. That evening, another knock. This time, it's a woman in military uniform. Colonel's insignia. Miss Torres, I'm Colonel Sarah Webb. Marcus is my brother. Maya invites her in. I came to thank you personally. Marcus has spent his career protecting others. When he needed protection, the system failed him. But you didn't. I just did what felt right. That's exactly why it matters. You didn't ask questions. Didn't calculate risk. You saw someone who needed help and you helped. They talked for an hour. Sarah shares stories about Marcus, his service, his dedication, the times he'd risked everything for others. He's supposed to testify next week. Sarah says quietly. About the leak. About corruption at high levels. If he'd died, none of that happens. Before leaving, Sarah hands Maya an envelope. From Marcus. He wanted you to have this. Inside, a handwritten letter. Dear Maya, I don't remember much from that night. Pain, darkness, thinking it was over. Then your voice. Steady. Calm. Telling me to hold on. You didn't know me. Didn't know if I deserved saving. Didn't know if anyone would thank you for it. But you fought for me anyway. That's rare. In my work, I see the worst of humanity. People who betray, who harm, who choose themselves over others. You reminded me that goodness still exists. I heard you lost your job because of me. I'm working to fix that. But whether I succeed or not, I want you to know, you're the reason I'm alive. You're the reason I can finish what I started. Thank you doesn't cover it, but thank you. Marcus. Maya reads it 3 times. Tears streaming down her face. Not tears of sadness. Tears of validation. She'd made the right choice. The hospital board meets to review Maya's termination. Standard procedure, they claim. But media attention has made this anything but standard. Someone leaked the story. Nurse fired for saving federal agent. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded. Hashtags trending. Hashtag save Maya. Hashtag humanity first. Hashtag protocols kill. Thousands of nurses sharing their own stories of being forced to choose between rules and patients. The hospital's public relations department is drowning. Negative reviews flooding in. Donors threatening to pull funding. Patients transferring to other facilities. Dr. Harrison sits in the boardroom, facing the music. The board chair, Margaret Winters, leads the inquiry. Dr. Harrison, walk us through your decision that night. The patient had no insurance, no identification. Protocol requires admin clearance before treatment in such cases. Even in life-threatening situations? Harrison hesitates. The protocol doesn't make exceptions. But federal law does. The Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act requires stabilization regardless of ability to pay. I was unaware the situation was immediately life-threatening. One board member, Dr. Patel, interjects. You're an emergency physician with 30 years experience. You couldn't assess severity. Silence. Margaret continues. Ms. Torres acted within her scope as a medical professional. She also acted within federal law. Your termination of her was premature and, frankly, legally questionable. Harrison's face reddens. Another board member asks, are you aware the patient she saved is a federal agent? That his survival may be crucial to a major criminal investigation. I was not aware at the time. Would it have mattered? Harrison doesn't answer. Margaret closes her folder. Dr. Harrison, this board finds your actions that night to be inconsistent with this hospital's mission. You prioritized policy over patient welfare. That's unacceptable. Are you? You're suspended pending full review. In the meantime, we'll be reevaluating our emergency protocols. Harrison stands, shaken. For 30 years, I've served this institution. And for 30 years, you've perhaps forgotten why we exist. We'll discuss your future after the review. He leaves, diminished. Margaret turns to the others. Now about Ms. Torres. Maya's phone rings. Unknown number again. She almost doesn't answer. But something makes her pick up. Ms. Torres, this is Margaret Winters, chair of St. Catherine's Board of Directors. Maya's heart races. We've completed our review of your termination. On behalf of the hospital, I apologize. You were wrongly dismissed. We'd like to offer you full reinstatement with back pay. Maya should feel relieved. But she doesn't. Thank you, Ms. Winters. But I need to decline. Silence on the other end. May I ask why? Because the system that fired me is still in place. Dr. Harrison might be suspended, but the mentality that prioritizes paperwork over people, that's still there. Until that changes fundamentally, I can't come back. I understand. What if we made you part of the change? We're forming a patient advocacy committee. We want someone who'll fight for what's right, even when it's difficult. We want you. Maya considers this. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. After hanging up, Maya sits on her balcony. City lights stretching out before her. Somewhere out there, Marcus is recovering, preparing to testify, fighting his own battle against corruption. She'd saved his life, but in some ways, he'd saved hers too. Reminded her why she'd chosen this profession, not for the paycheck or the praise, but for moments like that rainy night, when one person's courage can change everything. 6 months later, Maya stands in front of a medical ethics class at the local university. Guest speaker. You'll face moments where the rules don't make sense, where following protocol means someone suffers. In those moments, you have to ask yourself, why did I choose this profession? The students listen intently. Was it to follow rules, or was it to help people? She pauses. Sometimes, doing the right thing costs you. I lost my job, faced investigations, dealt with colleagues who thought I was reckless. But I also saved a life. And in the end, that's what I'll remember. Not the bureaucracy, not politics, just that one night when someone needed help, I didn't look away. After class, a young student approaches. Miss Torres, what you did, that took real courage. Maya smiles. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid and acting anyway. As she walks to her car, her phone buzzes. Text from Marcus. Testimony went well. Conviction secured. Thank you for giving me the chance to finish this. She replies simply, thank you for reminding me why I'm a nurse. Driving home, Maya passes St. Catherine's Medical Center. She'd accepted the board's offer eventually. Now leads their patient advocacy program, changing policies from the inside, training new nurses to trust their instincts, to see patients as people, not paperwork. It's slow work. Systems resist change. But she's patient, because she knows one person, one decision, one moment of courage can change everything. If you believe that true heroism lives in everyday choices, in moments when no one's watching, in the courage to do what's right even when it costs you everything, hit that subscribe button. These are real stories about real people who refused to look away when someone needed help. Just human beings doing extraordinary things because they refused to let rules override their humanity. More stories coming soon. Until then, remember, you don't need a cape to be a hero. Sometimes, you just need a heart that hasn't closed.